Hi, welcome to DC Fan Gives Hope. Now, if some of you probably won't be aware of, this is a YouTube channel where I basically just talk about anything that's going through my mind, and it's like a diary sort of thing. So it's not just all about DC. The reason why it's called DC Fan Gives Hope is because of my Facebook my Facebook page, which deals with the DC EU. But I like to talk about other things in general, stuff that will probably lose anybody that subscribes, or really that nobody watches. It doesn't matter. I'm not what you call a YouTuber. I'm just a guy that just gets videos out there, and if you want to listen. If you don't, if nobody ever wants to listen, that's fine. I don't tag my videos that much. It's just out there. So, I just recently, as you know, the last couple of videos I was making, I was trying to balance DC and Queen and stuff like that. And ever since the film Bohemian Rhapsody, it's grabbed a lot of my attention, and I've been doing a lot of fact finding, even more so. It was like, it was like DC comics. I used to collect them in the past and everything else, and Star Wars came out and stuff, and Star Trek. So I was into a lot of things, and it takes a certain thing to come out that gets you right into something. Gets you right into stuff. And you appreciate it more. And then you, after a wee while, you'll probably phase out of that sort of interest and into something else. And I think it's important to have a passion, to have something to strive for, and to make your life just that wee bit more better. For some people it's a walk in the countryside, or running, or exploring exploring the world. But not everybody can do what everyone else can, so they try to just throw themselves into their passions. And is it worthwhile throwing yourself into a passion? Is it worthwhile getting hyped up about a movie, or stuff like that? And of course it is. If it means something to you, of course it is. And the reason why I brought up the passion, and I've spoke about it many a times, and it's about the age that you are as well. It doesn't matter what age you are. If it is something that makes your life that much richer or better, then bring it. You could be a 70-year-old man, a 14-year-old boy, or whatever, or woman, or whatever. You can be anything, as long as it gives you something to look forward to in life. Within your means, within your financial means, within any possible means for you to obtain that something that will give you even just a fleeting moment of pleasure. You just live it to the max. And listening to this album, now I've heard this album before, and sadly I got rid of the original one. I couldn't mind what I'd done with it. Maybe the CD was scratched. But this song, this album, Made in Heaven, Queen, it was done by Queen, of course, but Freddie Mercury was singing these songs, you could say, in his deathbed. He was close to the end, and he was asking his bandmates to write him songs, or write him lines which he can sing. Now if you know somebody that's dying of AIDS, and if you like Philadelphia and stuff with Tom Hanks, if you have known somebody that's dying with AIDS, it is extremely, to put it in a nutshell, My father was, now I'd lost my parents and my family within 5 years. And my father, he went with asbestos. And he always sort of reminds me of Freddie. So he was asbestos poisoning, and he got worse. He was constantly sick. He was constantly in pain. It was the insides, man. He got thinner and thinner. His face was starting to go grey and everything else, and it was really hurtful to watch. And all those things that kept him going after my mother's death, like going to a football game and stuff like that, and buying a season ticket. He just wanted to carry on my panache. My grandfather, when my gran died, he kept himself busy and going for stuff that he loved, bookies and everything else. Well, this guy, now you can forget about all those wild parties he had, and in some of the interviews he said, he knew for an early stage he wasn't going to reach 70. He was just filling his life with, good times, with partying or whatever, and he was just filling that life. And a lot of us take life for granted, that we believe, or we are telling ourselves to believe that we're going to reach a good old age. And we hold back our monies and our pensions and everything else, and don't spend it, wait until we're at 70. And sometimes people just work till they retire and not fully appreciate the life they have just now. They're not grasping it. They're holding it back so they have got plenty of money for when they retire, if they live that long, and so, but this guy, Freddie, his bandmates pulled together and they wrote these songs for him to sing. There was no instruments, no nothing at the time. That was all of that was added in later after he died. And when you listen to this CD, it's the most moving CD I've listened to, because you know the backstory, because you know what's going on. And the songs include It's a Beautiful Day, Made in Heaven, Let Me Live, Mother Love, My Life Has Been Saved, I Was Born to Love You, Heaven for Everyone, Too Much Love Will Kill You, You Don't Fool Me, A Winter's Tale, and It's a Beautiful Day reprise. And it starts off, It's a Beautiful Day, where the birds are flying in the sky, and then it sort of ends in that way, and so it's the curtain down. Then after that you get this very lengthy music. It's like one of those calming music. It's one of those tunes that symbolises probably Freddie going up into heaven and stuff, passing on. That's the way the CD ends. It's a beautiful. Now, the song Mother Love, it's it's the fourth song on the album. And Mother Love, if I was to take a guess, was the last sort of song he was working on, because he sings half the lyrics and then Brian May takes over. And by that time you know that Freddie's couldn't finish the song and he was gone. Now, leading up to those moments, you had Freddie, they did rule the world. They had audience, and they had filling the stadiums, and ever more than that. When you watch Queen live, it's kind of magic. You'll see the fans that were going there. And they had reached the peak. They had basically conquered the world in those years. And they were big. They were huge. I was too young to appreciate it at the time. And so they had that experience. And when I read on their beginnings and how they were scraping by and paying for, they were paying for their tours, and they were just you know, all the money they went they paid it into putting on a good show, a good performance, even though they had hardly any money, and it all worked out in the end. You know, they all got to that sort of status, and they did it for the love, for the joy of writing music. It wasn't for the money, but it was four mates getting together and writing music. And one of the last views of Freddie was getting for Queen to get the award of I can't remember what it was called. It was like the rock music history and stuff. So that band is in, you know, those books along with the all-time rock greats or music industry. They're up there with them. They're recognised as that, and that to me must have been their crowning achievement on Queen. Talking about crowning achievement, they wrote a song, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, that I just found on YouTube. Elvis Presley sang it, and it was an ode to another musician. And now, as again, this was passion that was taking them over, and when Freddie realised he just couldn't do the live performances, you know, his body was getting weaker and stuff, he retired into the studio. And when he retired into the studio, the way I see it is the Queen just settled down and they made a couple of albums. I think it was A Miracle, and then Innuendo and stuff, and I don't know if they made a third one. It's not important, but they sat down and they made a few albums, and that's what they concentrated on, was bringing music and stuff without the fear of having to travel around the world to promote it. They spent their time just doing the thing that they loved, you know, and that to me sums up life in general. That to me, I mean, we always wonder what it would be like, you know, if you were the last one. I mean, I'm the last one in my family. And I'm throwing myself into all these different types of passions and comics and movies and TV shows, and I'm reintroducing it to my kids' lives. You know, my kids is growing up, and you know, I will say my 11-year-old knows a lot more than most teenagers when it comes to movies and music, because I've introduced them to all the classics and all this stuff. So if you have family, if you've got mums and dads, then just embrace them, embrace what they have got. Let them tell you about stuff that they're into, the passions that they have, because believe me, it is just as important to them that they leave something behind. And to me, Queen, Freddie have left a really strong legacy behind. They went against the norm. They went against what, you know, the X Factor, what are doing just now, and they wanted to do things differently. They didn't want to just be known as a rock group. They wanted to experiment. They were talented musicians, and who are we to say that they should stick to one kind of music? You know, I think if I could play the guitar, I wouldn't stick to just one type of music. I would play rock, blues, classical, country, you name it, and that's what Queen did. And as I say, there's nothing more touching than a guy who in his last days didn't want the world to think about his life, you know, his private life. All he wanted to do was to join his three pals and write music, and all he wanted to do, I mean, can you imagine lying in the bed, your body failing you, and he still was turning out this powerful voice. Even at Live Aid, when the doctors told him not to sing, he was doing it. And I'm definitely one of those guys. If I could travel back in time, I'd slap him in the wrist and say, no, we need another 40 years of Queen. You know, we need 40 more years of that. But again, bands sometimes can come and go, and there's bands like Bon Jovi and stuff, which I love. You know, they bring out so many albums, but it's only a few songs which will ever be in the hearts of the world. You know, so it doesn't matter how many albums you have or songs, and and it's like everything else as well. Some bands, all the music or X Factors all sound the same. Queen didn't. Queen accomplished something that no other band in my lifetime will do it. So what is this video's message? This message would be, let's hope when it's our time to go, that right up to the end we're doing stuff that we love. Hell with anybody else's thoughts and feelings about the age that you are, or what sex you are, or anything like that, or religion or whatever. Let's just hope that we get to do what Freddie managed to do, and just live life, and when it comes to the time, that we just carry on living life to the fullest. And that is what he done. He lived life right till the end, and that is something he should be remembered for, and not all those tabloid parties news about, you know, what you go up to, you know, at those parties. Who cares? What year is it this year? You know, I bet you we all done wicked things, or we all wish we had done those parties. Who cares? Sex is sex, love is love. But what he loved more than anything, apart from that woman, of course, but what drove him was his passion. So please carry on your passion, whether it be DC Comics, music, or anything. And please comment down below about your passion, and maybe I'll do a video about my experience. Maybe we have a similar passion. Thanks for listening.